Hi, Chief. It's okay. We'll get started here in just a second. Do you know, have you met Julia Server back there talking to Steve Jones?
Yes.
Yeah, we had we shared it. No, we didn't share it. We had a little beer up at the Black Dog the other day. And nice gal. She said she thought she knew you, but
Oh, yeah.
hadn't talked to you, or
Well,
had.
she's been wanting to get, but the next 30 days,
Yeah, that's what
43 days or something.
that's what I told her.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah. They had a
Then
structure.
you got attorneys that send you memos at 8 in the morning.
It's good for you.
Then
Keeps you on your toes.
I
Right,
tell you, I
Ann?
went to prom with a lady in a dress, and blew me off just like she's doing right now. I'm having flashbacks. Would you like to just go get me some punch and leave me alone? Let's go.
Let's go.
I probably really did confuse you because I'm not wearing my ring because I sent it off to the jewelers.
Dre's here. We just begin. HR's here.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Before we begin, whoa, is that too loud? Sounds, it's okay? All right, thank you. Before we begin, I really want to introduce the board. First of the month is a good idea, and I think people on our virtual don't know us, and some of you people might not know everybody here. But not just from left to right, before we get started with our meeting, on the very left side, probably a more important person here that takes care of the office down there, Deb Verley. When you call Morgan County Commissioners, that's the lady that gives you the always cheerful answer. We're glad to have, and she does her minutes and things like that. It's Kenny Hale's phone. We're getting used to it. Next is Linda Pruitt, our auditor, make sure we do all the things right as far as the money is concerned and the budget and everything. And enters Billy Mitchell from the pride of Clay Township. Glad to see you, Billy. To my left is celebrating St. Francis Day, and he's looking forward to all the taxes, is Commissioner from District 1, Brian Collier. And Kenny Hale just left with his phone. And Kenny Hale's District 2, which is most of the county. Most of you people, I'm doing this for the people on Zoom, don't realize that the commissioners are by district, but we are voted on by the county. And that's, the first time I ran for commissioner, the other two guys didn't know that, which was kind of cool, but it helped out. And on our far right is our counselor, Ann Calger from Paganini? Paganelli law firm, and we're delighted to have her working with us. We'll begin with our pledge and a prayer from Kenny Hale. The pledge I'd like to have, is there a commissioner, is there a veteran available?
Any veteran?
Any veterans? Billy, would you lead us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads, please. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for the beautiful day that you give us yesterday, Lord. And we just ask that you please keep providing that for us with the good weather, Lord. And we do still need some rain, Lord, and we just ask for that as well. We ask that you please be with all the people that surround this great country, Lord. We know we got snowstorms going on. We got all kind of traumatic weather going on around the country, Lord. And we just ask that you please be with all the emergency workers and also the victims, Lord. Just keep them safe. We thank you for our men and women that's protecting our freedom abroad and here locally, Lord. And we just ask that you please be with all them, put your armor around them, Lord. Please be with our police, fire, and EMS as well. And we just ask for your wisdom and for your knowledge to do what's pleasing in not only the taxpayers' eyes, but more especially in your eyes, Lord. We ask it all in your precious Son's name, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Kenny. I forgot to mention, I'm Don Adams with District 3, which is the northern part of the county, mostly in Madison and Madison and Mooresville and Brown. First item on the, I thought I had another revised, there it is. First item on our agenda this morning is the minutes from February the 20th. It's in your packet. Do you gentlemen have any questions about the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item is our claims out of the auditor's office. It's for your approval.
There are no holds, so Brian Carr will make a motion that we approve the claims as submitted for $5,060,263.36.
Second.
Motion been made and second that we approve the claims in front of us from the auditor's office. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item, by the way, I just always look at that number. Total claims is $5 million. That's your money, our money, our taxpayer money. So much of that, a lot of it comes right back into the community, and I think that's, I know it sounds, oh, that's a lot of money, but it gets spent at the grocery store and the car dealers and the realtors and everything like that. So a lot of money. Next item on the agenda is the grant application from Court Services. Is Brian, oh, yeah, no, yeah, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Miranda Beaucamp. I'm the Assistant Chief Probation Officer. We are requesting approval to apply for 2 separate grants from the Indiana Department of Correction. The first one is for the jail treatment program that we have in partnership with Sheriff Myers and Jail Commander Rogers. The amount for that one is not to exceed $230,000, and that funding is for the residential substance abuse program at the jail and then the reentry program as those people transition back into the community. The second is the Adult Community Corrections Grant. That one is not to exceed $750,000, and that funds the county's home detention electronic monitoring program and then also evidence-based case management by funding the staff that work under that program. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions from the board? Nope. I'm just glad to see you be able to apply for that. $1 million really is what we're looking at here, a little over. Do we have any, no questions from the board? Do you have a motion that we go ahead and approve that they proceed and submit this to the Indiana Department of Corrections?
Kenny Hale makes a motion, we approve the Adult Community Corrections and Morgan County Services for the grant in the amount of $750,000, as well as the jail treatment for Morgan County Court Services and the jail as well, in the amount not to exceed $230,000.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Thank you. It's passed 3-0, and
Thank you.
my wish for your continued good work over there.
Thank
you. Be nice when you're all over here. By the way, that's the plan. If you haven't heard what we're doing and you haven't had a chance to look at the pictures out in the lobby, as you right that direction. I don't know where the lobby is anymore. We're coming in that door, but this will, in a couple of years, be housing the entire probation department, prosecutor's office, clerk's office, and the courts. That's what's all the steel with it's going up here behind us.
For 750.
Okay,
Point of order.
point of order, yes. No internet, right?
That motion was for the 750?
It's for both.
It's for both.
What?
Oop, did I make a mistake, Brian?
The motion was made for both.
Okay, well, but one's for 750 and the other one's for 230.
Right.
Correct.
You mentioned that in the motion.
Okay.
Yes.
I just heard the 750.
No, I put both of them in it.
Okay, so we're covered. Okay, my bad.
No, not a problem.
I was making sure that we're not gonna leave a grant for $230,000 out there on the floor.
Yep, I don't want to do that either.
No, we've got them, we had both of them in the motion, so we're good. But thank you for keeping an eye on it. Linda telling you what we do. You gotta watch these auditors. They look at numbers real carefully, and that's the way it goes.
That was all me. I didn't catch the 230.
No problem. Okay, let me get my desk organized up here.
We need to come out of our meeting to go into a public hearing.
Yes, we're going that right now, I guess you'd say having a temporary closure of this meeting and go to open a public meeting for some business that we have to have, that's going to be explained to us by Chief Funkhauser, I think, from Bargersville area, but we need a motion to close this meeting and open up a public.
Brian Carr makes a motion that we temporarily suspend the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners.
Need a second.
Second.
Made and seconded, we close this meeting temporarily and open a public meeting for Harrison Township Fire District. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
By public hearing.
Yes.
Public hearing.
Yeah, thank you, Ann, appreciate that. Chief, or chief and crowd.
Tyler Lewis from Reedy Financial.
I'm sorry?
Tyler Lewis from Reedy Financial as well.
Oh, okay.
So Harrison Township Fire Protection District, they're requesting to create a cumulative capital fund in 2025. The tax rate would be at the max of 3 1/3 pennies. And moving forward, that would not adjust or change with assessed value or anything. So once they establish, it'll stay at that 3 1/3 rate. It'll be used exclusively for capital expenses. And then also, there's a second request. There's a population appeal form that we need the commissioners to sign. That doesn't approve the population appeal. We still have to send that to the state to get approved. But once the state approves that, then the council during budget sessions will approve that population appeal amount. So any questions?
I have none. I'm a little, I guess you say I don't quite understand the population business.
So the population appeal, it takes 10 years ago, their population compared to this year.
Okay,
And they have to be a certain percentage above the state's deadline, or the state's number to qualify, and they do qualify for that.
so this is, pardon me, this is for the state, this is a requirement that requires,
Yes,
I
it's a
got you.
formula from the state, and
Got it.
they qualify using that formula.
is this DLGF or is that
It's
somebody?
DLGF.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the board? Or it's a public meeting. Do we have any questions from the public? So you need approval for
So
that, but that can happen, that will have to happen in the closed meeting, I guess you say the
Yeah.
commissioners meeting, but this is an explanation of what you're doing with the
Yes,
chance for
yes.
the public to respond. Do
And
we
you
have
sh-
anything from the other two gentlemen up here? Or are you just kind of supporting?
No. I'm Don Stevens, treasurer. We need to do something to increase our funding because.
Now, you're the
we're
treasurer
running
of
a
Harrison?
deficit.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, what this is we have a contract in place for the next 3 years. So we're looking at all options on the table to make sure that we're able to fund that contract over the next 3 years. Harrison's experiencing rapid growth up in that area. I mean, assessed value was at 79 million in 2019, and now going into this year, it's at 131 million already.
That's in Harrison?
That's in Harrison, yes.
It's a 30% increase in value, AV. That's
we've,
fantastic.
Just over last year, we almost saw a 9% increase from 23 to 24.
It's a very small township, one of the smallest geographically in the state, I think, but it's not the poorest.
No, and it's growing quickly, and that, the population levy appeal, like he was talking about, is the chance to look back. They put a state statute in place that allows us to look back over 10 years. Anybody whose population grew past a certain percentage is allowed to qualify for a levy increase to be able to keep up with that rapid growth. So with them experiencing that, they qualify, and then that's what you guys are today, is kind of a pass-through that allows us to ask for that, but then it has to go into the budget later in the year and go through the budget process as well.
We're not crowded with too many people from Harrison Township right here, except Terry. And do you have any questions, Terry?
Yeah. Yes.
Will you come out front? Terry, will you come down front and identify yourself so people on YouTube will know who you are? Yeah, there's 4 people watching you. There's 4 people on YouTube today.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
All right. How do you know that?
When you talk about the growth, would you say that's from the subdivision Oak Hill?
That is from everything, just in all of the
Because when
assessed
you drive
values.
around through there, I don't see a lot of building except over in Oak Hill.
Yeah, it would be the new homes that have been put into that area, and then the assessed values are just going up as well in the area. So people are seeing higher home values and everything else. And then we're on the front end of the growth as well that'll be coming now that I-69.
So some of it may just be the fact that our housing values are going up.
That is a
Just
part of it,
because
yes.
they are everywhere.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, and I think the actual population, did you have the numbers that
Yeah,
increased in the area?
went from 1,100 to over 1,500.
Well, that's
So,
a 30%.
So 42% increase.
42%,
Yeah,
that's
Over
amazing.
10 years.
Didn't realize they had grown that fast.
Yeah, yeah.
It's part of Morgan County's growth right now. We're going to see,
right.
it's usually, for what it's worth, our growth over a 10-year period usually is around 4%. And I'm seeing that number's going to be shot out of the saddle in 2030. Be nice to take a bet on what it's going to be, but we're seeing so many tremendous changes. And in Harrison Township and Monroe Township are where it's going to take the most right now, but over the whole county, really.
Well, I came through I-69 and 144 this morning, and I know I had to stop and wait for that many cars to get
Wow.
through. We needed to get around the roundabouts this morning.
Yeah,
It's definitely getting busy.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Them roundabouts are busy in the morning. Any rush hour time, they're terrible.
Do we have any other further questions from the public or the board?
I just have one comment. Bargersville Fire Department has stepped up over the last couple years to fill a void that was not logistically feasible for other surrounding departments. So I would just like to publicly thank Chief Funkhauser and Bargersville Fire Department for coming across that imaginary line that sometimes is a true brick wall and assisting the citizens of Morgan County and Harrison Township. And I know that you've assisted on Interstate Federal Highway 69, and that's providing services for anybody that's traveling from Indianapolis through here to Bloomington. So I just want to publicly say thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will second that. I appreciate the chief and the cooperative collaboration that we've done with Bargersville. Very, very appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much for all you guys have done as well.
And same thing for the Reed folks with the figures
No problem.
and the treasure that keeps it all under control. Any further questions? Well, then I'll entertain a motion that we end the public meeting and proceed with
I would make the motion that we adjourn from the public meeting.
Public hearing into the public meeting.
Pardon?
Public hearing into the public meeting.
Public hearing? Yeah.
I'll second.
It's been made and seconded that we proceed out of the public meeting and into our regular meeting. So, thank you, sir, and thank you,
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
What's that? Right. This is what needs to be voted on, not so much that, right? Correct. Yep.
This,
So now we're back into the regular Board of Commissioners
that we return to our regular meeting,
as the world turns.
and do we have any business with this? We need to prove this.
Brian Kyer makes the motion that we accept the ordinance resolution establishing a cumulative special fire fund under Indiana Code 36-8-14-2, an ordinance resolved by the Morgan County Commissioners for a cumulative special fire fund. The proposed fund will not exceed 0.0333 on each 100 of assessed valuation. The said rate will be levied beginning with taxes for 2024 payable 2025. I also make within this motion that we suspend the second reading, so we do this one time.
I'll second the motion.
Is there any questions from the board or the public on this motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, and thank you, Chief and Harrison Township. Next order of business is from our Highway Department, and I believe it's our county engineer is bringing forth a paving order. I hate the word change order, but it looks like that's the way we're going to proceed, and you have a plan.
Yes, good morning. Before you, some literature for a change order in the amount of $57,120. And this is for a void-reducing asphalt membrane that will help prolong the centerline joint of the roadway, so that if we apply this now, there's less maintenance in the future, which will translate into cost savings for the county. So presenting you with the information on it, looking for concurrence and approval so that we can let the contractor start work.
And how's this going to be funded?
We have it in the budget this year for our local paving program.
Okay.
Yep.
That's usually where you have a problem with moisture getting down and having problems with the road, is that correct?
That's true. That and the edge of the road are the two first places a road is likely to fail, so.
And especially since they put that on some of the roads, what road is this going to go on?
There are several roads. A portion of Gray Road is going to receive it this year. Teresa Court out of 252. We've got several neighborhoods that this treatment's being applied to.
And they won't be putting that rumble thing in the middle of those roads, though, correct?
No, sir.
But I've always wondered why that doesn't have fault fast, but you engineers got it all figured out.
We try.
So you making a request that for this change order of a total amount of, what was it?
$57,120.
You have in front of you the change order, gentlemen. What's your thought?
We have the money when it's needed. Brian Kyer makes the motion that we approve this change order for $57,120.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded that we approve this change order for request from our highway engineer, or county engineer. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are you in favor of the motion?
I'm for the motion, sorry.
The motion has been made and seconded, and all in favor of the motions have passed, so
Real quick, can I ask a favor?
Sure.
And I'm kind of, and I see the mayor sitting back here, from the stoplight off of South Drive to the school, is that city or county? That's Mahaleysville Road, Artesian Way, it's no man's land.
Yeah. With that recently, being reconfigured with I-69, I'd have to take a look at that. I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head.
Can
Yep.
you get with Ms., I would like for us to put, I know in the short term, we should be able to put gravel on the side of that road. This is gonna hurt my chances for a lateral to Bargersville, but when I'm driving that $1.2 million aerial, I'm back wheels off so that I don't run over oncoming cars. It's not wide enough for the new fire truck, and it would be nice if I don't run over the oncoming car, that I got a little bit of a gravel shoulder to give me. It's just that strip, and it is way tight. And if, as old as I'm getting, as many years as I've driven, you can't tell me that one of them young bucks that are gonna go a little bit faster and be a little, that we're not gonna be in trouble. I foresee that being trouble. So would you work with the city and make sure that we widen that for me? I've never really asked for a favor sitting up here, but I was driving that the other night, and I thought, oh my.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take a look at that and we'll coordinate with them. Thank you.
It's
I'd
either,
like to tell the taxpayers, I went on public record to widen that before I get in trouble with my fire chief.
taxpayers might tell you to take something a little smaller, but,
Well, I can't shrink that ladder truck.
okay. You drive that sucker?
Oh, yeah.
My
When
goodness.
they're not hiding the keys. Mr. Hill's got a comment?
And I apologize, working with Ann, just making sure that we took care of Harrison Township and Bargersville. We do need a separate motion on that levy appeal, and I would make that motion, allow us in Harrison Township to go ask the state for the levy appeal based on population.
And waive the second reading?
Second reading.
I'll second.
All right, and thank you, Ann and Kenny, and all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's, are we good on the Harrison in Bargersville?
We are now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Legal counsel.
Thank you, legal counsel. Keep us where we ought to be. The next item on our agenda is a request for proposal, qualifications, and Josh, would you, I think you have the explanation of what we're getting into here.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. This is an RFQP. Really, we're pursuing the BOT process, just like we're doing with the courthouse. We were awarded ready funds a couple years ago now. We used part of the money, we partnered with the city to clean out a ditch. Part of the money was to open up sewer capacity up in the Waverly area. We have been waiting, hoping for somebody to buy out that property so we could finally move forward. That has happened. And these funds are dedicated to getting a lift station put in. No development can really happen in that area until a lift station's put in, and that's why we applied for those funds. We have about $1.2 million to use towards this project. You all signed a letter of affirmation maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, that we would do our match from our ARPA funds, and so that's still the intended case. And so I just want approval. This is set to run public notice, but I wanted approval from this board that they were okay with the RFQ.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, questions? This will allow the project to proceed, right? Correct? And a pretty sizable project, it looks like.
Could be.
Could be. And it's not, well, I won't go into the project itself. It looks very, it's going to fit with the growth that we're seeing. I mean, it's just got all this wonderful things that are happening in Morgan. I just love it. Any second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion to approve the request for the proposal, the RF, how we going? Let me make sure I've got the right, this request for proposal and qualification RFQ, signify by saying aye.
Hey, Kenny's shaking his head. I don't think you had a first.
Yeah, I didn't hear a first who did the first, so
I'm
I'd be
sorry.
more than glad to do the first. I did not hear a first.
Oh, I thought I had it over here.
No,
He seconded.
I thought Kenny said yes, agreeing to Josh's.
No,
And I thought that was on the beat.
I'd go
I was
ahead-
waiting for legal counsel to sit there and say you can't say yes.
Are you all new?
Motion that we allow Josh to go ahead and do the RFQ as well as RFP that's presented.
And we've already had a second.
I will second the real motion, not the yeah.
I think we had a cart horse problem right then, so thank you, council. Appreciate us getting this lined out. All in favor of the motion, and you included the second reading.
I'm thinking we're gonna have to suspend this meeting for another cup of coffee.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Yeah, another cup of coffee. Okay, we have some old business, that takes care of, do we have any new business that I might have overlooked? I think it's all set. In the old business, we have some business, either old or tabled. We have the ordinance that we've looked at, an update to the flood damage prevention ordinance. Hello, my dear. Laura Parker from our planning,
Third time's a charm.
third time's a charm.
I have pictures.
Pictures.
I was calling them up. I went down to the river and took a picture of the river this weekend, and
You don't like my drawing?
I'm gonna make the motion.
Commissioner Hale, did you have any
I
questions?
love pictures.
No, I got 3 comments. On the definition side, the ICC and the CRS, I know they've been deleted. All of our old ordinance, it's just a technical matter. I just love to have it in there just so everybody's clear as mud on it. The other issue is not an issue, it's a comment, and I'm really glad to see it. It's in the statement of purpose, actually number 12. It's going to really help us out. It's actually a way, because I know the state legislature, they run the wetland bill through the Senate and the House, and the governor signed it pretty fast. And it gives us that opportunity with this language to dig and still protect, whether it's a 1, 2, or what used to be a 3 that's now a 2. So I really appreciate seeing that in there. Overall, I think it's an awesome job. I was kind of surprised to see so much of our old ordinance that was done in 2014 in there, so I would make that motion to go ahead and approve the flood prevention ordinance that Laura presented.
Do you want to make it
I'll waive
Second
the
reading.
second reading.
waive? Okay. You have a question? Oh, we don't need a question. Do we have a second?
I will second it, and I want to thank her for as much trouble as I've given her. I will publicly thank her for that drawing. It was worth 1,000 words.
I'll sign it for you later.
Now, the problem is with that, Laura, is that you probably have to bring more pictures, because you know how it goes. He'll expect it. You get him expecting pictures.
Sets a precedent.
Thank you. A motion's been made and seconded that we approve this ordinance number 24-3, and that it would also be waive the second reading. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Laura, and thank you for your wonderful artwork. Just sign it.
One last question for you. Did the state actually do this, take our old ordinance and pretty much revise it, or did you actually do a lot of that?
They revised it and then forwarded.
Yeah. I
This
was
is
kinda-
what the,
I was kind of shocked to see them do that, and I know we're the only county in the country that has that. Back in 14, there was a few city and towns that had it on the East Coast, but nobody else had a combined floodplain ordinance, fluvial erosion all in one. So it's glad to see that they did go ahead and
yeah,
kind of follow that.
makes it easier to have it in one document.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, appreciate that. And I appreciate the artwork. No more than Commissioner Collier.
That's right.
Farm lease agreements,
I can give an update on that. There's really no business before the board, just an update. If you'll all remember that under Mr. Hale's very carefully crafted motion at our last meeting, we approved the farm leases subject to one adjustment to a parcel that was listed and should not have been, and then otherwise to putting in the long-form legal with respect to the ones that did not, some of them had long-form legal, but not all. The update is that Mr. Hale has done a valiant job of getting all but one of the leases covered by that. So we'll have updated copies for those. But I think because of the way that the motion was phrased, we won't need to reapprove the leases. We'll just be substituting the legals.
thank you. So it was an update that we really don't need to improve, it's just the information that we can put in the minutes so we know what we did. correct?
Correct.
In other business, we have a request to use the courthouse square. And I frankly didn't see that yet, but that's my
It was
fault.
not in the pack. I did not see that request either.
What is that?
Morgan County Fall Foliage Festival Board of Directors is requesting the use of the courthouse grounds for the 24 festival. This would include the courthouse lawn, parking around the courthouse, and the ability to hook up to water source on the south side of the courthouse, as we always have. The dates requesting are October 8th after 5 p.m. through October 13th. The festival board is looking forward to another great festival. I will get you a certificate of insurance as soon as possible. Please let me know if there are any additional if there is any additional information needed. Thank you again for being part of the event. Brenda Marketan, President of the Fall Foliage Festival.
Yep.
Have any questions about the request? I'll take a motion.
50+ years. I'll make a motion that we approve the request to use the courthouse lawn, and water source.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. We approve the request from the farm, as presented. I won't say I can say the whole Fall Foliage Festival for the use of the courthouse. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item in business is the roads in Green Meadows. Josh.
Don, similar to your last comment
morning.
about reflecting this in the minutes, that's what we're doing now. So this is a subdivision that was approved back in 2005 to accept in this road network. We've been maintaining it. We think that it's ours. But a title searcher brought to our attention that the deed of dedication was not what we would normally see. There's a dedication in your packet. This was during a time where I think that it just fell through the cracks. Everybody believed that it was done. The original developer is no longer with us. And so we want to clarify in the minutes that it's always been the intent to take these in, and we've been maintaining them since 2005. And really, we're doing this for future transactions, just like this title searcher found. We want to make sure that it's clear that we have acknowledged that these are our roads.
I think I have it correct, but we did it, but we didn't sign it.
Yeah, the developer submitted this dedication, but it never had a place for the signature of the commissioners. And so
Okay.
it's somewhat ambiguous, and we would like to clarify for the
Okay.
record.
So in approving what we didn't do, have those roads, are they ours now?
Well, that's what we would like to clarify. We believe they
We want
are.
to
We've been
clarify that.
maintaining them since 2005.
Have we been acting like it's ours, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just basically kind of taking care of what we should have taken care of or should have signed back in 2005.
Yes.
That's correct. Do you have any
Kenny, how-
questions, Kenny?
No.
I do not.
Counselor?
No.
Makes a motion that we go ahead and reaccept the roads and just finalize for record, keeping mostly all the roads in Green Meadows, and then there's only 2, Arnold Avenue and Burns Boulevard, I believe is the other one.
We have a second on that motion.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Us, public? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0, and we'll be sure and sign it. We have any other items here?
Yes, the next one is potentially good news. So as this board is aware, we've been looking diligently for some land to reintroduce a recycling center. We found a landowner that we believe is willing. We've had good conversations with them. You all engaged the average 2 appraisals, which BLN helped us take care of here recently. I presented those to the family. The son is who I met with. He believes his dad will sign this agreement, and the way we left it was that we would present a preliminary purchase agreement to you all. It doesn't mean that it's final form. They may suggest some tweaks or changes, but we wanted to get that before you today. We need approval of the council as well, which we'll ask for a resolution this evening and the first reading of an ordinance. But should the family decide they are willing to move forward, we want to make sure we're ready. So this would allow us to open up a recycling center area off of 67.
I have some things to add, but I have a question for you first. Assuming that the commissioners were ready so that we could get going forward, would you like to have the purchase agreement signed by, with the caveats that I have? You'd like to have that
Yes.
signed today?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I didn't misspeak with what I'm about to say. Okay, folks, so this is a contract for the purchase of real estate, and it establishes a purchase price based off of the average of 2 appraisals, with that purchase price being $262,500. Again, with the caveat that we believe that that's an acceptable price, but we don't have anything signed from the seller. There are several conditions of contract in here and a period of 60 days proposed for conducting due diligence. Some of the things that Mr. Messmer and I were concerned about is just making sure we don't have any environmental concerns. We address any existing tenants and the means of those tenants being removed from the property. Planning and zoning, we think we're okay on, but just in case we run into any snags with planning and zoning for the intended use of the property. There's a well on site, but we'd want to do some testing on the well. We'd also need to make this agreement contingent on being able to have a septic installed. There's other documentation we would request. We would have a right of entry during that due diligence period. Probably the most important thing is just because your meeting's in the morning and the council's in the evening, there's 2 things that this contract would be contingent upon, and that's satisfying the law with respect to having the council both enter a resolution with the interest for purchasing and then follow that later with an ordinance authorizing. So I don't anticipate we'll have the ordinance by tonight, but I think we would have the resolution by tonight, which would allow us to start doing the due diligence that we need to do with the property.
Thank you, Ann. So as a first step, we need to approve this
Purchase agreement.
purchase agreement, and then it'll have some other steps. My question is really briefly is, and you mentioned it, but the environmental studies and all those things, is that on us? I assumed it would be, but I'm not, like to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be on
It'd be on
us.
us.
This is, yeah, that's on us.
I assumed, I didn't know who was responsible for what. I haven't read it that carefully.
Yes.
Okay. So, any other questions?
Just for clarification, so what exactly do you need from us today?
We need approval of this purchase agreement
Purchase agreement.
because you're going to be the ones that are signing the purchase agreement, and in order to start on this due diligence, the step would be you would sign the purchase agreement. That the other side, the seller would sign the purchase agreement on the other side. And in the meantime, the agreement that you're signing this morning is of no force and effect unless the council gives the thumbs up this evening.
It's more like an offer, really, isn't
It is like an
What
offer.
it is.
it? As such, if they approve the offer, then we go to the next step.
Correct.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the contract for the purchase agreement of real estate up in Clay Township.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. We approve the purchase agreement. Is that the correct way to call it, or the form? Purchase, it hasn't been a purchase, the proposal.
The contract for purchase of real estate.
Say it again.
The contract for purchase of real estate.
Contract, okay, thank you. Any further questions about that? All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. I pass it, and I'm just excited to hope it keeps moving.
And I do want to clarify, I know you all are well attuned to this. Probably the most calls we get on any topic is to reintroduce recycling. So even if they do sign this, this won't happen overnight, but this gets us headed in the right direction, so we can start moving as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it'll be a delight to see it happen.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for your work, Josh. We have a request to bring us some information from a young lady from Harrison Township. And she's a school teacher, so we need a blackboard, I guess. No, we don't. No artwork. Oh, we have something else before that?
This letter that's right to your right, Don. Right there. Nope, you almost put your hand, right there, that one.
Oh, okay. Before we get to you, Terry, we have a request from our Highway Superintendent, Eddie Fisher. What's up?
Hi, we're requesting to have, be placed on the agenda for the upcoming council meeting in April. We're requesting, freezing up here. The remaining cash that was left in the Coon Bridge Fund, 1135, that was decided in the budget for 2024, we discontinued that account for the new budget, and we're asking to have those funds placed into the 1135 for roads, bridges, small structures, to take the cash, to have it reappropriated to where we can use it for those purposes. So we're not asking to have that, we're just asking to be put on the agenda to have that.
At budget time, it was voted, you're doing away with the Coon Bridge Fund.
Right.
So it was determined that we would do a spend down, but nothing was appropriated at that time. Now we see how much remaining cash we have, and he's wanting to appropriate.
There was $371,324.35 left in the cash fund for Coon Bridge, and since we've done away with that, we would like to take those funds and put them into the 1135 to where we can spend it down with bridges, small structures, and roads.
Advantages of doing that, personally, because if we have money there, somebody else will want it.
Yeah.
And if it's it's moved into your fund, they can't have it. I
Exactly.
won't put it quite like that, but
Yeah.
it puts it in where we want it to
I
be.
mean, it was in the funds we were using to begin with, and it was just left.
Correct.
Now we need to put it where we can use it, fix
got
these
you.
bridges. We have a bridge that's closed down right now, we can use those funds for. We've got extra roads that need some work, so.
You'll find good use of it. So, do you have any questions?
Is that what we're spending? Is that what we're fixing there?
I'm ready,
The
I'll
new
make
line
a
item?
motion.
Is that what we're just?
Yeah,
You ready?
It's not gonna be anything new.
I'm just talking on the technicality
Yeah.
of taking a tax and putting it into another line item. We've had problems with DLGF and that in the past, you can't do that. So I'm just making sure that if we approve this to send to the council, as long as that's what we're gonna pay small bridges and structures going forward, I don't think the DLGF would have a problem with it. I just know you can't collect one tax and then spend it on the other without getting in trouble. So I don't have a problem with this if it's been approved to talk to the Department of Local Government Finance.
Go ahead. Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the request to let the highway department go before the council and get appropriated in the amount of $371,324.35, be appropriated in contractual service line item 1135.36, 100.000.0000.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. We approve the transfer of the funds from, as you've requested. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 So excited to get, you just want to get down.
We're ready to spend it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Fix those
Yeah.
bridges.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Okay, any other business before we get to our guest from Harrison Township? Terry, what can we help you with?
Okay.
Suck her down, all the way. It won't come on. There you go. It'll attack you.
Can you hear me? Is that
Yeah.
good? Okay, my name is Terry White. I live in Harrison Township and specifically in the Crooked Creek Estates subdivision. And I serve on the advisory board. and I am on the Morgan County Regional Sewer District Board. I was appointed by the Harrison Township trustee, Fred Roberts, when he was our trustee, and that's how I got this appointment. I was appointed before the sanitary sewer plant was built. The sanitary sewer plant, and when I was appointed, the board met quarterly. And one of the most important things that I feel that I did was we helped the Mooresville School District get sanitary sewer delivered to the Waverly Elementary School. And one of my passions is Old Town Waverly Park, and we were able to have wonderful restrooms placed in our park. So the sanitary sewer system has been serving the community in Harrison Township. But what we also needed were some customers, and at that time, we didn't have a lot of customers that were very interested, and there was a public meeting held at the Waverly Elementary School, and that was before I was appointed. But anyway, to shorten this up, I went around and talked to a lot of neighbors and said, you know, environmentally, this is good for us, and it's great for us, and got about 15 people to agree with me, and so we signed up. We also had grant money, so they were able to connect without it costing as much out of their pockets because we had the grant money. So now we are currently a 5-member board. We're a 7-member board. The board is appointed by trustees, county commissioners, and county council. So we have a trustee from Madison Township and a trustee from Harrison Township. And then we should have 2 other members from Harrison Township, one from Harrison Township, one from Madison Township, to be appointed by the county commissioners. Around October, November of 2023, it was becoming evident that our board was going to shrink from a 7-member board to a 5-member board. And I became concerned because one of those members we were losing was our engineer, Eric Acker. But anyway, so what I'm here to ask is, and to describe and have you ask me questions about the responsibilities that the Morgan County Regional Sewer District Board has. We are operating this plant. We have the Weiser Addition plant that we operate, and we're down to 5 members. We found out on February the 10th, February the 12th, that the operations of our plant, which has been done by Aqua Indiana informed our sewer board around February 10th, February 12th, that they were no longer going to be able to run the plant. And that would end on March 31st of 2024. So we held in our February meeting, we have an administrative director now, and she sent out for bids. We got 2 bids coming back. But why I'm standing here is this is an important matter, and we only have 5 board members. And tomorrow evening, we have to vote on these 2 bids, and I am a retired public school teacher. If you ask me questions about the science of reading and Senate Bill 1, I can tell you all about it. If you ask me about those kinds of things, that's my background. I'm also, background is in Morgan County Religious Education. I'm a director and a teacher for them, so there's my background. But I feel that some of these responsibilities that have come upon this 5-member board are responsibilities that I don't know. I can look at the money, I can look at the numbers. One bid's lower, one bid is Morgan County. It's Monrovia. It's wastewater operations out of Monrovia. I love Morgan County, so I want Morgan County. The other bid is from the Bargersville Utilities, but I also love Bargersville because if my house catches on fire, it's these guys that are going to be there. And also I love Bargersville because they do everything helping us at our park. So I'm just trying to ask if we could get some appointments to this board so that this significant decision-making isn't falling on someone. The 2 members that we have that just came in January, Dwayne Metcalf and Denise McClure, they're brand new to this. The only 2 members that have been here since before the sewer plant was constructed is myself, a Harrison Township resident, and Dr. Paul Broderick, who is the Morgan County Board of Health appointment. If, and today I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Josh, and he says that there's a new lift station and some more engineering. What can be done to help us find an engineer or someone to serve on this board? Any idea?
Well, I mean, I know you have one opening that had to be a Madison Township resident, I believe, right?
And one has to be a Harrison Township
And I didn't
resident.
know there was another vacancy.
Yeah, there's
That's the first
two.
I heard. Who was that went off?
Ashley Wright resigned.
So she's a Harrison Township resident.
But I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that I've been talking to Dawn and you, Kenny, about this for several months because I knew things were coming down the path that I wasn't going to be able to understand or be able to make good decisions. So maybe I didn't really tell you that two people, that our board was going to be short, but I really believe that I was been concerned about the sale of the plant to the Bargersville. There's just a lot of concerns that are bigger responsibilities than my skill set. I'll go around and talk to all my neighbors. But I don't want to talk to my neighbors when they say, why did you guys make this decision? And I say, I don't know, we didn't have any board members besides. I don't know, I'm appealing to you guys to help us get somebody to know what to do. And if we have another lift station and more engineering, BLN has been the engineers that we have, and I know Chris Kaufman well, and I know those guys that have done the engineering reports. The concern also, I have another concern, and that is that when the project was first started and I was going around knocking on people's doors and talking to them, we were also given 3 phases by the engineering. Phase 1 was going to be going down to the school, and phase 2 was going to be Waverly Woods, which is a subdivision across from the school. And then phase 3 has talked about Oak Hill and some Hug and Hollow development. And I just have a concern that, and I know things change, things have changed. The commissioners at the time, Norm Voiles, Ryan Goodwin, Kenny Hale. The council was different, the economic development chair was Daniel Elliott, and that's different now too. But what we were told in Harrison Township was phase 1 and then phase 2 Waverly Woods. And so I have a little concern about that as well. If the plant, and Bargersville would probably be able to do phase 2 to Waverly Woods. I'm not saying that they wouldn't. I'm appealing to you guys so that you're aware, because we hold meetings, public meetings every month, and there's nobody there but us 5 people. And recently it's just been 5 people, and then 1 person's been sick, so we're down to 4 a lot of times. Do you have any questions for me? Because I'm going to another meeting tomorrow night.
Are you still having the meetings over there at Mooresville School headquarters?
No, we have moved the meetings for probably, maybe about the last year. We meet at the Morgan County Library Community Room, and we've also met at the Mooresville Government Center in the basement, what's something called the Lion's Den.
Okay.
So it's either one of those places.
So where's your meeting tomorrow night, though?
I think it's in the Lion's Den, but I can tell you later. I look in my notes. But I just haven't, I mean, I don't know what to do with 2 bids. And just me, not just me, but Paul and Dwayne and Denise have also looked at all of the information. I did reach out to Eric Acker. I sent him the information because he's the former engineer who knew about this kind of stuff. And, you know, I got a nice reply back on his suggestions. I've tried to contact people. Who knows? I don't know if the wastewater, I know I'm talking a lot, but if the wastewater operations group out of Monrovia, and then you've got the Bargersville Utilities group out of Bargersville, is there an entity that tells their reputation? Like, do they do a good job? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Some, you know, a Better Business Bureau or somebody says, oh, you always want these people to do it, or you always want these people to, you know. and I haven't been able, and I've tried. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out which bid is the right way to go for us, and if we get another lift station, then the cost of operating that is gonna make this even more expensive.
Well, I think it points out, Terry, the importance of the service that we had from Eric.
Yes, it certainly does.
And actually, I have a little brief history of my own experience. I was on the Regional Sewer Board with Jeff and Eric and all the folks for the project we did out in Madison Township. And I totally understand the value that we had from people like Eric. Is he our appointment?
No, Eric resigned because he's,
Pardon?
Yeah, Eric's off the board.
Eric resigned December the 31st.
From the board, correct?
Eric Acker resigned from the Morgan County Regional Sewer District Board as
Right.
of December 31st. He is the Morgan County Fair Board president now.
So we need somebody that's as good as Eric.
Eric's a good buddy of mine. His kids went to Waverly. You
Okay.
won't find anyone quite as good as Eric, and he likes 4-H, and he's a
Well,
farmer.
I think I can
Maybe
see
there's
that
one out there.
we've got to help you out a little bit. I don't know how it's going to happen exactly, but
Well, have you
just
been
making
able
us
to-
aware and we find a person that has the qualifications to continue with the project, because it's very important. And we've actually got two now, correct? So your board's down 2 people?
No, we're 4. We're 4, but there's 2 new. See, the only 2,
okay.
there's 2 brand new and 2 that have been there since
So
the
we just have
onset.
to get one.
No, you got to get 2. We're 7 members.
Oh, it's a 7-member board.
My
I got
numbers
you.
are not adding up. Paul Broderick, myself, Dwayne Metcalf, Denise McClure. We lost Ashley Wright, we lost Eric. Maybe it's a 5, my numbers aren't coming out right.
I'm almost sure that we already appointed somebody in Ashley's place, but I could be wrong. Is that where Deb went to go pull the appointments?
Who is it?
Deb went to pull the appointment. I'm thinking we already replaced Ashley. I know we hadn't Madison yet.
Okay,
We're going to get a list.
that would be
I
great.
thought we had somebody that wasn't going, correct? That's what, right. We need,
All right.
it'd be nice to have
My
another.
purpose was to make you aware, and that was all.
Oh, we're aware of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're aware
appreciate-
of it.
Appreciate yeah, we're aware,
Okay.
all right? And,
Terry, who's the chair of the board now?
Paul Broderick, Dr. Broderick.
Paul's chair. Thank you.
One of the things I think is behooves us all to know, and I'm getting ready to start this, and it's not just the Regional Sewer Board. I think, in fact, I had a letter or an email into the lady that does our webpage. And I think it's not this is a connection. We have lots of boards in this county. I mean, lots of appointments that we
Lots and
make.
lots and lots.
And probably very little information to the public on who does what and how and when. And I'm working to correct that because it's very simple. It has to be done on the webpage where we can make people aware of the different boards and responsibilities and needs that we might have. So, the other side of that story is we now have it's about information and sharing of it and knowing what we knew and how important it is. We're going to kind of, I guess you'd say, push that button a little harder so we get that, and then also share it with the correspondent, which is a blessing to our county, so we can make sure that everybody's aware of need. So I would sit with, make sure you got the information to our correspondent person here, and we will be acting as prudent as possible.
Yes. And you're correct, Kenny, it's Mary. And the reason Mary wasn't on my mind is she has not been, she has been unable to attend the last 2 meetings, and so it was Mary Harold.
And I stand corrected. I thought we had already reappointed somebody for Ashley for Harrison. I see we didn't. I know we didn't for Bonnie. And I think she only attended one meeting anyway.
She didn't do a very long term.
I thought it was one meeting is what I heard.
I'd have
Who'd
to-
you say is the
I am
president?
the secretary, I could look at the minutes.
Who's the board president out there right now?
Dr. Paul Broderick.
Oh, he's the president of the board?
Well,
Yep,
when
this year.
January rolled around and we only had 2 people that had been on the board for any length of time, Dwayne Metcalf would have done it, you know, if we had, but we went with going with Dr. Broderick and Dwayne Metcalf is the vice.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. We'll be keeping in touch and see what we can do
Very
to
much.
help you out.
Thank you, Terry.
Do we have any other business and for other business for the? We'll move to for the good of the county. Billy. This has got to be good, Bill. Front. Billy Mitchell, trustee of Clay Township. May I present? Ham cooker extraordinaire.
Yeah, all of the above. Okay, on this new thing we're going to propose in Clay Township, we're putting a privacy fence around that where it won't be observant from the road. A high privacy fence, we won't have
On
people go
what?
by making comments about it.
The recycling center?
Which?
Oh, on the recycling?
Recycling.
Oh, no.
That's just one question to ask about.
No, we won't do that.
And then Collier, you brought up the subject about wanting your roads taken care of because you make a road. You ought to come and ride with me on the bus sometimes. I like a lot of my roads widened.
Don't do
And
it.
then you was talking about Henderson Ford. I'm bringing up about the roads. Henderson Ford's got a good dip in it up there. Has anybody ever looked at that? It's in the works. That's one good improvement. Okay, and the American flag. We have none on this building no more. Can we put one on top of the new structure out there to show us it's American-made and be proud of it in our community? Now that we got that new building stuck up there in the framework, maybe we ought to put a flag up there to, just a suggestion.
I like that suggestion.
Bring that up.
Huh?
We'll bring that up.
Well, that's fine. And I guess that's all I got to do. Oh, I do have things in the future to think about. Clay Township, we're having a junkyard started up there in a small area. And then we also have, in hydraulic press, they're pushing water out into Lick Creek. Maybe we ought to have that treated now because they're changing their operation up there a little bit. To come into Lick Creek, the water run off of it into the Lick Creek.
I talked to Terry Brock this morning about that very operation.
All right, and then
for a while.
up there, when the junkyard has started putting the cars over on Tidewater, sorry, guys, because they can't get into, Bethany won't let them come in no more, so they've been bringing cars over Tidewater and loading it out. That's in a floodplain area, or that creek comes down by there, so one of these days we have a flood up there in the future, those junk cars are gonna be sitting right there in that floodplain, off that, right there next to the creek. So we may want to look at that in the future as far as junk cars being sitting there for a long time. Because he puts them over there and then loads them out on Tidewater to get rid of them. So that might be something you think about in the future.
Thank you.
I hate being the center of the county because everybody wants to pick on me.
Thanks, Bill. I think that was for the good of the county. For the good of the county from the board, from the public?
Move to adjourn.
I have heard a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. We thank you for all being with us today.